on to these. Gonna regenerate. I don't like that. Why can't everybody have minion damage? It feels like, you know, the phrase I heard somebody say was like, this game feels like it's guardrails up, like ARPG, and I like very much agree with that. It feels like there are some like prescribed builds, and beyond that, I don't know. I want to use the phrase like thinking outside the box, but like in PoE 1 there was no box. It feels like there's a box in this game. I mean, I think the most like generous interpretation of why they did this is like they only have so many points on the tree that they want to have, right? So like why make a totally different cluster if like probably nobody is going to take these nodes otherwise, right? Like, I mean, what are the odds a sorceress comes over here and even takes this node? Well, I mean, this is like a pretty good node, kinda. Right? Like, if you're ES stacking, why aren't you taking this? You have to. This is the weird one to me. And there's probably other weird ones. Like, this is like a really good node. This is a really good node. Like, you want to take every ES node and like this node's really good. So like the fact that Witch just doesn't have this is weird to me. It's like completely different. Like these ones I get. It's like, okay, well, no, I don't really get, because why can't this just be a spell damage and minion damage node? Like it's just so you aren't allowed to play minions on Stormweaver or Sorceress, or like maybe both. Probably both. Like it feels like, well, this isn't a minion build, so we're not going to support a minion playstyle. But it's like, why? I mean, so what? Like, yeah, I don't really see what you would do with minions on this build, but at the same time, why remove that? But it also seems like Witch not having access to some of those ES nodes is just like fucking weird. Are there any other, like, I'm assuming it's like fairly localized, like the starting zones at least, but these ones too are recharge. I don't get it. But like, what about Infernalist really makes it a minion class? The fact that there's a node that gives you a minion? Yeah, I'm trying to cook up like an Infernalist build right now. Lose 0.5% of life per second per demon. Hold on. Well, it only says lose life. Lose 0.5% of life per second. Okay. So if your CI... If you reach 1 life, fuck. Okay. So you can't use CI while being in demon form at all. Can you play hybrid? Like, is hybrid viable? Like, I mean, what's the big deal? You die to chaos damage? Like, so what? Does that even matter? It seems like everybody dies to chaos damage anyway. Why not join them? I like the idea that you play hybrid. Well, the question is, I'm assuming that the lose percent of life per second goes to your ES first. But that would prevent your ES from recharging. Wow, I guess the problem is life regen doesn't exist in this game. Like, there's no possible way to get, like, appreciable life regen. Like, this version of Zealot's Oath is so strong compared to PoE 1 Zealot's Oath, but if you can't get, like, 20% regen, the shit, like, just doesn't fucking matter. Like, I don't even think you can, like, 5% regen. Yeah, okay. I don't think the, I don't think ES Infernalist is a thing. Anybody have the builds? Are there any Infernalists out here? Life Stacker Infernalist. Dude, I was watching Tuna watch the crypt video he posted, where he's just like whining about PoE 2. It was definitely like, okay, Grandpa, like. Armor reduces fire damage taken. Well, I don't think that's really what that does. Am I high? Is he talking about this node? I mean, okay. 25% of armor also applies to fire damage taken from hits. Okay, so what he's saying is armor reduces your fire damage taken, and then of that 25% taken as fire, you're reducing 20%? Like, who the fuck cares? Nobody cares about reducing 20% of the 25% damage you're taking. Armor affects 5% of the lightning damage you... Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't disagree with that idea. I don't know that I really trust Crypt's take on builds, but just wanting to see what people are doing. So he's just stacking all the life as like no damage. I don't really want to play a minion build. If I'm playing Infernalist, it's going to be to like live or die by the demon. But I am curious which ascendancy points he took. Am I stupid for thinking this is bad? Wait, what? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. It says 1% of Infernal Flame lost per second. But that's not true. It's 10% lost per second. Maybe I'm thinking about this one the wrong way. Okay, so on low Infernal Flame, which seems pretty easy to achieve. It seems easier to stay at high Infernal Flame, or above low, than to stay low high in high. All damage from you and allies in your presence contributes to Ignite, Chance, and Magnitude. Is Ignite good? My problem with Ignite is it doesn't seem like there are like any like really big hits. Like, yeah, like Hammer of the Gods ailments seems pretty good. But I haven't seen any like bleed or ignite builds that I thought were like very strong currently. And it's mostly because like there aren't a ton of huge damage events. All on high Infernal Flame, and high is 65% plus. I mean, 65 is probably easy enough. But like, when allies in your presence gain 20% of their damage. That's like too little damage for maintaining that. Right? Like, I think the only way the Infernal Flame shit works is if you're like a huge Ignite build. And I think what you do is, because it's easy to stay at high Infernal Flame if you're like, because consider it this way, if you're like if you're almost capping your Infernal Flame, you don't benefit from your weapons in demon form. Oh, okay. What, I heard that they fixed it. That's weird, because that sounds like a deal breaker to me. Well, I mean, Demon Flame is probably better than a weapon. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Infernalist is like the best like leveling thing, because Demon Flame like guarantees you will always be doing damage. Even if your weapon's dog shit, right? I mean, if you just read this as a weapon that says plus, you know, plus 3 skill levels, however much cast speed per your level, and however much spell damage you get per Demon Flame, like, it's just way better than any weapon you can get at like an appropriate level. But at the end game, not having a weapon would be quite catastrophic. How much does the Infernal Hound cost spirit? Or is it just permanent? He was taking the Hellhound. Dude, he's just taking... Dude, look at this fucking build. He's taking the 3% life downs. Oh god. This node seems kind of huge. %15% per second? Oh god. How do you possibly mitigate this? Like, I misread it. I thought it was 15% of your life over 5 seconds. 30% more crit, like, you can get so much crit damage. That's a ton of crit damage. But I don't know what you do about this, especially if you're in demon form, right? Like, you're already taking damage. I think you... Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I think you take this guy just for, like, the meat shield. Like, I mean, if you read this as take 20% less damage, that's a pretty good note. This note is... I don't know what you do with this. The best part of this is definitely the Fizz taking his chaos damage. But, like, unless you can get insane fire res, like, this is kind of whatever. Plus max ES per max life. That's worthless if we're in Demon Flame or Demon mode, right? We need to see how Demon Form works. There needs to be some testing done. This one is good, but I think Spirit's more of a minion angle, right? And mana per max life is big. Who cares energy? I don't really see the point. I don't know how important mana is as like a spellcaster who like is casting spells a lot. Hold on. We need to look in game right now. We need to see what spells are available in the world. Clicking a support gem. I'm clicking a spirit gem. I don't know what other classes have. It's like the main problem for me right now. Okay, so we get elemental, right? I didn't even know Fling Blast was in this game. I've heard 0 people talk about it. It's so hard to tell how good these are based on staggered tooltips. I'm gonna get a drink though real quick. Here, babe. I need a way to view the skill gems in the game easier. More easily. Need to see what's available. Because, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Let's look through all these first. Lightning Conduit. I think we, like, what I'm thinking right now is we test the limits of Ignite scaling. Or, like, we just look and see, like, if the number's there. Because Bleed is really good, right? Like, we know Bleed is good. I have not seen a single boss that has survived a Hammer of the Gods being dropped on it, like, thus far, right? Like, the full damage from Hammer of the Gods into the Bleed is, like, 10 million, and, like, it's going up the more gear you get. So, what we need to look for is the thing that has, like, the highest damage in the game, and see if we can, like, if Infernalist would play into that. I guess it's probably just easier to look in the web browser, right? Does it show me the level 1 numbers? Okay, it shows me level 22. So, I'm looking for stuff that's spell tagged, right? Because Demon Form gives spell damage, so it needs to be a spell. This is just basic spell. Is in Dark Pact. Dark Pact good. This is your life if no skeletons are right. Okay, let's think, right? 13% of your own life, and then 100% more damage. How much life do you think you can get if you're really stacking it up? Like 4k? I think 4k is kind of like the upper bound. How much life does Elk have right now? Maybe that's a better question. He's a big old HP stacker. Is 4.4k as a Titan who needs to stack like 500 plus strength. So we probably won't get that high. Let's assume that like 4k is the upper bound, right? The absolute max. That is 1040 damage plus like 55 from the skill itself. So like, I guess that adds up to 60, doesn't it? So it's literally 1100 damage base hit if you're sacrificing your own life, right? 0.7 cast time, is that good? Seems like it's on the lower end. Is it big though? Can we not see the AoEs on gems in the game? Dark Pact. Does it exist? Is it on the game? Oh. Is it? Wait, is it on the database but not in the game? Brother. Okay, I got tricked. Trolley old. $300. We need one big, like. So, there's no ailment that stacks. There's no damaging ailment that stacks multiple times other than poison, correct? As far as we know. Lightning Bolt. This one's probably the highest damage so far. Living Bomb. Ooh, this is like spell earthquake, kind of gross. Dot. Which is a support. Didn't we see lightning bolt earlier? Yeah, lightning bolts are fairly high damage. Embers deal 5% more damage for each previous ember fired in sequence. Over duration is 1. Okay. It can deal up to 50% more damage. But oh, it's a really tiny AoE, right? Can I see this one? It won't let me look at it? Oh, there's no fucking way. Dude, this shit is so annoying. So it won't let me preview anything that isn't my own skill. Come on, a little arrow?
Ember Fusillade conjures motes of fire that hover above you. When you stop casting, the embers will launch at your enemies. Ember Fusillade conjures motes of fire that hover above you. When you stop casting, the embers will launch at your enemies.
Seems like it would be a mana problem, right? It looks like too many casts. We need like fewer casts than that. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Spark. Little damage. It's all dead. Can you generate corpses? I need something big. None of these are big. Ignites as though dealing 500 fire damage. Okay. But... why is it so high? Whoa, that's a big damage. Oh, you have to make the orb end, but... isn't the damage on this thing crazy? What is a cooldown? Ew. Okay. Earth. It's again. Page and feeble. Arc. It hits pretty hard. Arc hits hard and it has the buff for each remaining chain. So 50% more. Okay. Arc is a contender.